The House memorandum on the Trump investigation and the FISA warrant shows probably criminal acts. Not to mention it was bought and paid for by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee. The whole thing is a farce, friends. And Iran has announced killer drones. That and so much more here on The Voice of Resistance. I'm Randall Terry. Many of us have been suspicious of state, local, and especially federal law enforcement for some time. Some of it goes back to the Clinton era. Some of it goes back to the Bush era. Some of it goes back to the Obama era. But I will tell you, I was targeted by the Clinton administration. In her first press conference, then Attorney General Janet Reno specifically said that she was targeting Operation Rescue, that her number one priority was to target Operation Rescue. Now, our Operation Rescue, which I founded and led, was a peaceful protest movement to fight abortion. With all that was going on in the world, Janet Reno said that yours truly, Operation Rescue, was her number one priority. This is politics. So that makes, from a very specific insider vantage point, that makes me have suspicions about law enforcement. We're trying to save babies from murder, and this woman, using the full resources of the federal government and her staff, they're probably tapping our phones, following us, getting informants. Anyway, so yeah, I'm suspicious, personally. But during the Obama era, it became clear that the independence of law enforcement was being undermined. When you look at what happened in Ferguson and the army of DOJ officials that was sent there to try and drum up some race-based case against the officer who shot the Gentle Giant while the Gentle Giant was coming at him probably to try and kill him, who had already grabbed his gun to try and kill the officer. The criminal already had done it. So some of us have been suspicious, you know, that thing where they were giving cash, they were giving guns to gun runners and to criminals along the southern border without tracking them, ended up killing an American officer, police officer. There's a lot of reason to doubt the veracity of certain elements inside of federal law enforcement. When we got our latest wave of death threats at that time because of Islamic terrorists, I went to FBI officials here where I live because the person in charge of bringing charges for the postal system said, we have to have an investigation. We have to find out who did this and bring charges against them. The FBI officials that I spoke to here were useless. They wouldn't even give me the time of day. They wouldn't even give me their names. And I said, well, I won't tell you what I said to them. Anyway, I have personal history with law enforcement that makes me suspect. Not to mention things that I've seen and read in the news. Well, now there's some really big reasons to doubt our government. And we can look at the corruption under the Obama administration and with Comey and with other FBI officials. In short, the entire scam about President Trump colluding with the Russians was predominantly the work of one man, a British spy, a former British spy, who was from time to time on the FBI payroll as an informant, but also who was paid $160,000 by the Clinton campaign and the DNC. Paid money to create this so-called dossier. These unverified allegations and accusations against President Trump. Now here's where there may be not just collusion, I don't know, maybe criminal acts. The FBI took this dossier, and McCabe, who's an FBI official, said under oath that without that dossier, there never would have been a request to get a FISA warrant. That's the part of the judiciary where they have to go, if they want to do a wiretap, okay, they have to get a judge to say, yes, I find probable cause. I find there to be a valid reason for you to tap these people's or this person's phone or their email or whatever. Constitutionally protected against, search and seizure, etc. So, unjust, unwarranted search and seizure. So we have this dossier created, paid for by Hillary Clinton. The FBI knew that it was paid for by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. They knew it. And they went to a judge and said, hey, we've got this dossier here. It's got some pretty interesting allegations against Donald Trump and his associates. We think we need a warrant to spy on somebody who's in his organization, in his orbit. It was all a scam. It was an inside political hit. And the FISA warrant would never have been granted, never would have even been requested had it not been for this dossier, which was paid for by the Clintons and by Hillary Clinton and by the DNC. And the FBI knew it was paid for by them and didn't mention that to the judge. How do you think that makes the judge feel? And by the way, how much of that report was verified? I'll tell you when I come back. Today, many so-called Christian intellectuals believe that the God of evolution used billions of years of death and destruction to evolve the bodies of the first human beings. Then, they simply declare the theory of evolution as fact to justify their unproven scientific fallacies. By the grace of God, more and more Catholics are rejecting this modern-day mythology in favor of the traditional doctrine of creation, as recorded by the Bible and believed and taught by all the fathers and doctors of the church. To find out how sound theology and natural science confirm the sacred history of Genesis, visit the Colby Center for the Study of Creation, and be sure to check out our bookstore, which has titles like I Have Spoken to You from Heaven, A Catholic Defense of Creation in 6 Days, and A Catholic Assessment of Evolutionary Theory. That's the Colby Center for the Study of Creation. The answer to the question, how much of the dossier, the accusations presented to the FISA court regarding anything that needed to have surveillance, guess how much of it was verified? 0. These are unsubstantiated allegations. Literally unsubstantiated. There was one time where the dossier quoted Yahoo News, okay, as a possible connection. But Steele, who wrote the dossier, is who gave the quotes to Yahoo and then quoted Yahoo in the story. So he was feeding the lies to Yahoo. Yahoo reported the lies, an unnamed source, and then Steele reported the lies as if, this might be something that we really have to look at. This is despicable. And what's more despicable is that senior DOJ, Department of Justice, and FBI officials knew. They knew. And they were signing the requests to go to the FISA courts and to the surveillance courts and ask for Trump associates to be spied on in an election year, people. This is the stuff that communist dictatorships are made of. This is so appalling. This is so abhorrent. Now, I know that all of us, not most of us, not all of us, most of us are overrun with data. Randall, I just can't care anymore. I can't. I'm just, it's almost like our adrenal glands are burned out. Too much news. Am I going to look at the Philadelphia Eagles beating Tom Brady and they hate Belichick? Or am I going to focus on Hillary and the fact that she got all this money from the Russians? Or am I going to focus on Obama and his potentially evil deeds in the White House? Or am I going to focus on it's just, we get worn out. I do. I do this program and there are times that I just get worn out. I do. So I get it. But every once in a while stuff comes to the surface that shows the danger that we're in. The big picture danger. That this despicable human being, who, by the way, and I quote, put this quote up on the screen. Steele said to one of the FBI folks, or one of the people, the Deputy Attorney General, Steele said to him, quote, that he was desperate that Donald Trump not get elected and was passionate about him not being president. Now, this was said to somebody who's in the Department of Justice, who knows that Steele is compiling this document, who knows that Steele is on the payroll of the DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign. So this dossier, in other words, friends, get it. He's not been hired by the FBI. He's not been hired by some law enforcement agency. He's been hired to create a poop storm, if you will. Excuse my language. He's been hired to create a hornet's nest against President Trump by Hillary Clinton. This is disgusting. It's an outrage. God save us. So the Senate Judiciary Committee has requested that the Department of Justice consider bringing criminal charges against Steele for lying to the FBI. Now, Steele was an FBI informant. He was fired because he broke the rule. He said I think he told Mother Jones magazine or somebody that he was an informant for the FBI. You're not allowed to do that. So this is a guy, $160,000, it sounds like a decent amount of money to put together a bunch of hooey. You just got to be a good storyteller. Because all these unnamed informants. Yeah, this is what was going on. In other words, as a former spy, he could have written it in such a way, with unnamed sources, with unnamed leaks. He could have may have written, for sure he wrote part of it. Part of it's just totally false. He lied. He knowingly lied. But we don't know how much of it's a lie. What we do know is that the whole thing is not substantiated. No corroborating evidence. None. And senior FBI officials knew that he created this at the behest of Hillary. It was bought and paid for by Hillary and the DNC, Democratic National Committee. You want to talk about undermining the electoral process. This isn't about Trump knee-deep with the Russians. This is about Hillary knee-deep and her people knee-deep in the desire to subvert an election using and abusing federal surveillance and spying. This is disgusting. I got to take a break. We've got some news from Iran, and also we are creating a new movie. You are going to want to see this clip we're going to play you, and you may want to be a part of it. Don't go away. Have Muslim terrorists hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam? Or is there more to the story? The answer lies in the life of one man, Muhammad, the founder of Islam. Muslim terrorists see themselves inside a 1,400-year-old story, a narrative that focuses on specific events in the life of Muhammad. We are going to look at Muhammad's life using their most sacred literature. We will look at Muhammad at the Battle of Badr. We'll see him deal with those who mock him. We'll see the times when he used deception. We'll witness Muhammad's anti-Semitism. And yes, we will discuss Muhammad and his teachings concerning sex, slavery, and jihad. Friend, if you want to understand Islamic terrorism, get this series today. The Iranians, who are predominantly a Shiite nation and on the U.S. state, they are state sponsors of terrorism. There's only 4 nations on that list right now as state sponsors of terrorism. This is a government that writes checks to terrorists, okay? Obama gave billions of dollars to these state sponsors of terrorism. And what do you think they did with some of that money? They sponsored terrorism. Well, now they just released a press release saying that they are mass producing drones that will carry bombs. Now, what we don't know is how fast will this drone go? How far will it go? What payload will it carry? How accurate is it? Is there somebody who's sitting with a joystick and watching in real time? How is the payload detonated? How visible are these drones? These are questions that we have to ask. But listen, We filmed a scene, or a couple of scenes, with a drone that we rented. It was about a $12,000 drone, okay? Cost us $1,200 to rent it for a day. Now that drone can easily carry 5 pounds and can be manageable with it. So if you have a 1 pound or a 3 pound or a 4 pound explosive, I'm thinking that you can do a lot of damage, if nothing else, on a U.S. soldier. So just imagine 100 drones flying in on men who are walking in Syria, men who are anywhere. I mean, don't pick the nation, pick the soldier, pick American soldiers. So now what you're going to have is the U.S. military is going to say, we must create a shield. We have to create a software that will watch these drones and shoot them out of the sky. This is where we're headed. All right, now listen. We are in the middle right now of producing a movie, documentary, a 90-minute, hour-and-a-half documentary, unlike anything anyone has ever done, ever, anywhere on the face of the planet. No one has done what we are about to do. And we're putting ourselves at risk because of terrorists like people that are in Iran or in any number of Muslim countries. The name of the movie is Muhammad, Founder of Islam, in his own words. Now, what we're doing is we have hundreds of images that we're putting up and quotes from Muhammad. So I'm narrating it. My face is not on the screen, so it's going to be fast-paced, interesting, images that people have never seen before, images that are hundreds of years old. We don't have any good still shots, no photographs of Muhammad, a little before camera time. Voice actors, an original music score written by yours truly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a segment of it right now. This is the opening minute and a half. I'm asking you to pray, but I'm also asking you to give. It's going to cost us not a lot because most of the research is already done, but it's going to cost us several $1,000s, maybe close to $10,000 to get this done. Which, for anybody who knows the film industry, you know that that is really inexpensive. Got some very dedicated workers here, and the money that I'm going to raise does not go to me. I do not pay myself, literally do not pay myself for this project. This is a labor of passion and devotion to God and to the truth and to Christ's church. So I want you to watch this clip, and then I'm going to tell you how you can help. Muhammad, the founder of Islam. Muhammad was born in 570 and died in 632. Muslims believe that he was the prophet of God, or messenger of Allah, or apostle of Allah. Allah is the Arabic word for God. Islam is the name of their religion. Islam means surrender or submission. It is the second largest religion in the world, claiming almost 1.5 billion people who are called Muslims. Muslims teach that Muhammad was used by Allah to deliver the Quran, which they believe is the word of God. Muhammad was an Arab, born in 570 AD in the city of Mecca on the Arabian Peninsula. His mother's name was Amina, his father's name Abdullah. His father died while his mother was still pregnant. When he was 6 years old, his mother died. He lived with his grandfather for 2 years, and then his grandfather died. At 8 years old, Muhammad was an orphan. His uncle, Abu Talib, took him in and raised him. So as you can see, it's very paced, it's calmly delivered. I'm giving the facts about Muhammad's life. I'm going to give the facts about the peaceful elements of his life. And then I'm going to go right to the Battle of Badr when he changed. and show his quotes. Voice actors, great voice actors. It's so powerful, friends. We need help financially to do it. I'm asking you to go to our website or to call the phone number you see on the screen. You can talk to a live operator. My office manager, you can talk to him. I'm asking you to give to help. If you'll give a gift of any size, we will give you the movie when it's done. If you'll give a $100 gift, we'll send you 5 copies of the movie that you can distribute. Why are we doing this? I'm going to tell you when we come back, and it involves law enforcement, okay? Don't go away. What Would Mohammed Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Muhammad and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, "I learned more from What Would Mohammed Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life." Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, "What Would Mohammed Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Muhammad and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced." Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Friend, we have a series that will help you and those you love to have an impact on this country. It's called Insurrecta Nex. That's Latin for revolution against the killing of innocent people. This is the history, the philosophy, and the theology of social revolution in America. We look at the Stamp Act, the Boston Tea Party, the abolition of slavery, the abolition of child labor, women's voting rights, the civil rights movement. All of them have this in common: courage, sacrifice, dedication, and in-your-face tactics and rhetoric. That's one of the reasons that we've been losing the culture wars the last 40 years, is because the bad guys are using these tactics and we aren't. We will send you this 14-part TV series along with these manuals for students, a teacher's facilitator guide for only $40. Go to 304-289-3700, 304-289-3700. Some of you know that we created an 8-hour series, literally like a college course, on Islam, the history of Islam, the history of Muhammad, Islamic terrorism, the Hadith, the Sunnah, the Quran. And we've gotten rave reviews. Rave reviews. What's the problem? It's 8 hours of material. Literally 20 episodes. So there are some people that go, I just can't do that. I can't do that. I can't stand that much material that's that dark. And I get it. So we've had people in the communications industry say to us, would you please make a shorter version? And what pushed me over the edge, or what helped push me over the edge, was a law enforcement officer. One of our supporters who gives away the What Would Mohammed Do series to people in politics, law enforcement, etc., gave it to a chief of police of a certain city. And the chief of police said, I wish this was shorter because I want to show my men this material. 8 hours, they're just not going to do that. They will get him in to watch a 90-minute movie. They will do that. So what we're doing is very paced. Friends, I need help. All right? I made a decision. I made a decision years ago that I would be willing to lay down my life, if need be, to tell the truth about Muhammad and Islam. And we've gotten multiple death threats, fatwas from various countries, okay? I'm going to tell the truth. Islam is a threat to Christianity. It is a threat to freedom. It is a threat to the things that we cherish, right? So we're covering this truth, and we're doing it respectfully. I show Muhammad's peaceful season in his life, and then when he turned and started using jihad to promote Islam. And we quote him regarding killing apostates sexual slavery, jihad, conversion at the point of the sword, killing of Jews. There's nothing like this that's ever been done. But I need help to finish it. I'm asking you to call that number or to go to the website and make a contribution, and we will send you a copy of this movie when it's done. Please, please help us.